What point did you come in, and did the second season come because the first season was successful, or was this story always around?
I think the second season is a result of the success of the first season for sure.
I felt so good when I read that script as Shefali. I said, oh my God, I feel safe and secure.
I love playing Neeti Singh and I love her equation with Vartika, and I love seeing these two women in the positions that they are.
People don't just commit crimes because of, there's a very small percentage of people who do it because of a hormonal imbalance.
With all three of them, of course, is amazing, but you have a performance like Shefali put out in this season. It's an exceptional performance, and I think the world needs to see it, India needs to see it, and it's an exceptional performance.
Hello and welcome to Bollywood Hungama. I'm Rohit Khilnani. Joining me is a wonderful team of Ready Crime 2, which I've just binge-watched last night, and when you wake up, you straight meet the cast and crew. So, big fan and congratulations to all of you.
Thank you so much.
I will start with you, Shefali. I'm at the right place to congratulate you for Darlings. So, congratulations. Thoroughly entertaining and straight jumping into something like this.
Yes, it's a treat as an actor.
Right.
And I'm so happy it's on Netflix.
Right.
And both characters which I loved, Shamshu, and I'm hopelessly in love with Vartika.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's a treat for all of us. Yeah. Treat for all of us, absolutely. So great, great going. What a time for all Shefali Shah fans. So please keep going at this pace.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right, so coming to Ready Crime 2, I'll start with you. The first season was another level. So the expectations obviously were sky high from day one. That was one of the biggest cases of the country where everybody felt so emotional about it. At what point did you come in, and did the second season come because the first season was successful, or was this story always around?
I think the second season is a result of the success of the first season for sure. The characters, people came for the crime in season 1, but they fell in love with these characters.
Yes.
So we felt an obligation to take their stories forward. In season 2, we hope they come in for the characters, and we'll learn about the crime moving forward. And when you have a cast like this put together and a successful season, this is the hardest thing to do in television. Actually, most seasons, most shows don't work. You cut it after 3 episodes, 4 episodes, 1 season. This is a show that worked. So there's a lot coming into the show, but look how much value we have, how many resources, how many great characters. My excitement was, where do we take this show? How do we grow it? And to work with all three of them, of course, is amazing. But you have a performance like Shefali put out in this season. It's an exceptional performance, and I think the world needs to see it. India needs to see it, and it's an exceptional performance.
Right. There's a lot of curiosity about who's directing this one. Do you want to take a minute to tell the audience where did you come from, and what's your background, and how did you get roped into this?
I'm a director. I've been, and they needed one, and so they called me. No, I've directed films for a long time in the U.S. and in India, and I did projects similar to Richie in similar styles.
Okay. And
this show needs a sort of filmmaker sensibility. It needs an insider-outsider sensibility, I think. It's a unique point of view. And I think I was able to translate my style into the show's language very easily. So the producers saw that ability in me, and that's when they called.
Nice. Having watched it, I can totally vouch for what they were looking for. Absolutely amazing. Rasika, what he was saying is very interesting, that people, people fell in love with these characters. What is it about these characters, this amazing equation between both of you also on screen? What do you think clicked and worked so well that we are sitting and discussing season 2?
I don't know what exactly clicked for the audiences, but I can definitely say that a lot clicked for me.
Yeah.
I love playing Neeti Singh, and I love her equation with Vartika, and I love seeing these two women in the positions that they are, and love seeing them interact with each other through different circumstances. And I think one of my favorite moments from this season is in the end when Vartika, towards the end when Vartika and Neeti meet, and she senses there's something wrong, and they sort of have an awkward moment where they don't know how much to.
Such a good scene.
She doesn't know how much to intrude. She doesn't know how much she wants to share, and it's finally, I think the scene is sort of summed up in a very Madam Sir language, in which Neeti says, "Domestic problem, Madam Sir." So I enjoy working on this character because I really feel she's somebody I know. It is, there's some parts you play which are unknown to you and you don't know how that person is wired. And for example, Mirzapur is one of those for me where I don't, it's difficult for me to get to that place, and it's exciting for that reason. But this part is always something which I feel is comfortable. I feel I understand different sides of Neeti because either I've lived around women who have been like her, or I have experienced some of it in my life, like some of her idealism, some of her sincerity was very much how I was like in my college days in Delhi University, So I think it's revisiting a part of myself which I really enjoyed being, and a part that I miss. And so it's always nice to relive that.
Shefali, a lot of people connected with this character, loved this character. I can go on and on about it, but do you want to tell the audience how she evolved in season 2?
I keep saying this, Rohit, in all my interviews, and I'm sorry, but it's a really good line, so I have to use it. But I believe it. In season 1, she became a hero. In season 2, she's human. Also, I think, you will get a medal if you're righteous and if you're hardworking, etc., etc., etc. But as an actor and as a person, there is so much inside us which is not perfect. And to delve in that and to question, Vartika questioning herself, Shefali questioning her, and vice versa. There's so much to... it's just going to grow from there. It's contagious. It's addictive. It doesn't stop. It doesn't have a boundary. Also, like Tanuj said, in the first season, there was a crime and these characters came on board. In the second season, we have the legacy of the characters and the crime happens. I also feel she falters. She has flaws. She makes mistakes. But she's not shy of admitting, accepting and acknowledging and correcting them, even if it is at the cost of herself. I think that is where her strength comes from. To accept, it takes a lot of strength. And her vulnerability is intact. That's what makes her. But she can also distance herself and say, one second, this one doesn't require my emotion. This one requires my practical work to solve this. Because that is the call of the moment. So there is so much to her. And like I said, last season, I did not expect her to become who she became. And she actually deserved that. I felt so good when I read that script as Shefali. I said, oh my God, I feel safe and secured suddenly. There are people, there is a woman like that, etc., etc. In the second one, it's not as simple as that. And it's a more delicate line to play with. I might not go back with... Vartika doesn't come out with medals. In fact, she doesn't even feel like she's won in the end of it. She feels like a total failure after her scene with... There's a sense of defeat. Because she can solve this crime. She can stop another one from happening. How is she going to change the entire system? That includes herself.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a wonderful place to go. Because there's no end. There is no wall. There is no stopping. The moment you start questioning is where more questions are going to come up. So it's all of that, I feel.
But she's the same strong person. She doesn't just take orders. She will stand up for what's right, what she thinks is right.
Well, that is who she is. And I think that is one of the reasons why she's loved so much.
True.
But she takes orders, but she has a way of doing
has
things.
Her own thing also.
And she's quite defiant that way. But she also, she has this managerial quality about her, which I think is in a lot of women. They know how to deal with... One is they're dealing with the position of the person, and one is they're dealing with the person. She knows who to allocate what work to. Not just because of their professional ability, but she hands over the victim and their family to Niti. It's a choice she makes.
Yeah, totally.
You know, she knows who's going to be good at finding out stuff for me. Okay, put Jairaj and Subhash and these guys. Subhash is good at taking orders.
Right.
Might be a little difficult to reach, but he'll do it.
Right.
You know? Yeah, he is.
That's a very polite way.
Yeah, it's just like, arey yaar, isko matlab, acha theek hai, but do it.
Do it.
So it's a lot of stuff together.
Right.
And I think it's great. I mean, I love it.
We all love it. Tillotama, I was, fantastic performance firstly. I wasn't expecting this role at all. Like, how did, when this came to you, how did you see this girl? She is aspirational, she has dreams, people will judge her for doing something wrong, something right. How did you see it?
You know, there's an idea of restorative justice, right? Where when a crime is committed, the victim's family and the perpetrator of the crime, they meet. And there's a question that's asked. The first stage of restorative justice is encounter before they move into healing and transformation. And they ask, why did you do it?
Yeah.
Now, that is the question that has always bothered me. Has bothered me because in the answer, I know I will be culpable.
Right.
Because people don't just commit crimes. Because of, there's a very small percentage of people who do it because of a hormonal imbalance or, it's oftentimes being just almost having no choice. And when we say there's always a choice, those people are privileged.
Right.
Privilege, and I just don't mean money. Sometimes it's just having a wonderful partner in your life who can just be like, let me pull you back. You're going into a really dark place. And that fascinated me about her because, like I was saying before, I had 2 wonderful years teaching drama therapy at Rikers Island, which is a high security prison in New York.
Right.
And while working there and studying all the case files of the so-called criminals, I found them less at fault. And I found many other factors. And it was a common thread because, you're reading 100 case files over a year. And it became so overwhelming that I had to leave the job. And that's why I came back to Bombay, because I felt like I can't make money out of this. I can't have a salary from this. And I did not know at that time about restorative justice. I worked in a very traditional system of crime and punishment. You've committed a crime, you're going to be punished. These are going to be your years. And I really saw that system, the failure of that system. And it is so rudimentary. And there's no space for grey. And there's no road in between. And it is just putting some twigs to cover up a dam that's going to burst. Right. And so for me, like Karishma's character was just symbolic of that. She is caught in the crossfire of a justice system that is limited, that doesn't look at people as all people as deserving of basic dignity.
Right.
And that when you squash someone's identity, you'll have to deal with the the wreckage of that.
Right.
And you have to take some responsibility. And I really feel like the more one has, I've sat through like this kind of an alternative to the justice system and, restorative justice, the focus really on why did you do it? Do you know what it's done to me?
Right. Yeah.
Now I already didn't have a father, now I don't have a mother. And this is the situation. And then the person listens to what they have done. And then they begin to articulate why they did what they did. Because a crime ruptures relationships between people.
Oh, it does. Right.
The punishment of that person doesn't heal.
Right.
Neither the person who's punished nor the person who's lost a family member to that crime.
Right.
But knowing the answer to that question is a beginning of a journey of transformation and of changing, a real change, you know. And I feel so bad that someone with as much talent, as much go-getterness and determination like Karishma, who just, you know, knows how to cut hair and really, like, you know, like, there are people, right, who pick up skills really fast because they're so seeking,
right,
you know, and that someone like her had to end up like this.
True.
I really felt for that. I really felt like you could have been somebody,
right,
you know, and
sure,
you know, to have her in that frame, be in prison, and know that it's not going to, this is just a cycle that's going to repeat itself.
right.
Was like one of the big draws for me in playing her character.
Right. No, that's a very interesting scene that you're saying when she asks "Kyun kiya?" That's such a simple question, but you know, so much on both your minds doing that. Absolutely amazing. Do you want to tell the viewers who are yet to figure out what season 2 is? What case is it? What time this is? When is it set?
Well, it's set in the Delhi crime timeline, which was around 2012, 2013. So this picks up in that time. You know, it's you can see the details. The phones are a little older. It's very subtle in the background of our setting, and it's a crime that evokes the memory of an older crime that happened in the 90s, a string of crimes called Kacha Banyan Gang home invasion, and it was a time in Delhi where these serialized home invasion murders were happening. And I remember this time too. I was in Delhi at these times. And it was fear across the city. You know, people's grandparents were scared for their grandparents, scared for the people they would target were the most vulnerable people. And so this crime, this signature crime, appears again in 2014. And the cops, you know, use the methods that they used in the 90s to find out these criminals. But it goes from there.
Right. Yeah. And it's not connected to the first season. The case is not connected to the first season.
There's no connection.
It's a fresh story.
Yeah.
Great.